All right, it's Chip of the Day. I was watching a video that Dave, EEV blog Dave, put out about jelly bean MOSFETs. And all of the parts that he mentioned I was pretty familiar with, except for this one. I did not know about this one, and it got me excited, so I bought some. AO3400, this is the N-channel version. There's another, I think the 3401 is the P-channel version, but I never use P-channel stuff. So I got one of these because they're too good to be true. They're an SOT23 package, and they're supposed to be good to 5 amps. That's just nuts. That's just nuts. And they're cheap, right? They're really cheap. And so they're only a 30-volt part, but for everything I do in the garage, I never go below 30 volts. So that's fine. But they have really low on resistances, right? Around 30 milliohms, 0.03 ohms. So yeah, they're pretty cool devices. 30 volts, gate to source. Don't drive them more than 12 volts on the gate. They turn on around a volt. Let's see, a continuous drain, 5 amps. That's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah, they turn on, threshold is 1 volt. They are nice little devices. So, you can see here, 2 volt gate to source, 10 amps. It'll pulse up to 30 amps or something like that, real short pulses. So anyway, it's a cute little device, and so I bought 100 of them, put them in the stock. I think these are a must-have to put in your arsenal. I didn't know anything about these. They're kind of an odd part. Alpha and Omega, I'm not familiar with that company. Been out of the business for a long time. So anyway, I'm going to put some on some little adapter boards, like this little guy here. And yeah, let's put some volts on him, just for a little look-see here. So we'll put 12 volts, and we can turn the part on and off with a control voltage here. Okay, so yeah, so this is about 100 milliamps or something like that. I think something like that. So instead of using other parts that I usually have in the past, 2N7000s or something like that, I'm going to use these little guys. These guys are really, really cute. But I kind of am really, really nervous about 5 amps. It just doesn't, it seems too good to be true. When something seems too good to be true, it usually isn't. So I'm going to go ahead and hook one up. We'll run it at temperature. We'll run it at current. We'll see what we can do with it. Yeah, who knows? Okay, here's the test setup. It might be a little bit hard to see, but right down there is the device. And I have it underneath my thermal camera. This camera came with a tripod system, a holder, and so it's in macro mode, and we're able to take a close look at it here. I'm going to be powering up the device, and then I have a DC load right here. Let's scoot that over. I've got a DC load, so we're putting 12 volts on the part, and we can load it up. So we'll do a iSet of 1 amp, and we'll turn it on. So we're drawing 1 amp, and the power supply says we're drawing 1 amp. That's not the important part. The important part is how hot does it get. So we'll take the camera and plug it into my iPhone here. Should automatically detect that it's connected. Yeah, and turns it on. So I'll just set my iPhone here. And let's see here. Can we get this all on camera, sort of? I think you can see it down there. We have a little hot spot there. I'll take a couple pictures, but yeah, we have a little hot spot right where the center of the package is. Right around 30 degrees C right now. It'll warm up for a while and stuff like that. Let's go to 2 amps. I will do a 2 amp set. So this should be getting hotter. 47. I'm sure you can't read that. 50. 51, 52, yeah. So it gets hot. And so what I'll do is I'll use the setup, I'll run it up. My general rule of thumb is if things get to be about 125 C, I stop. That seems to be a high end for me. Comment below what's your comfort zone. How hot do you let packages go? We'll look at the data sheet and see what it says this can take. I'm a little skeptical about the 5 amps number, but again, we'll take a look at the data sheet. I'll take some numbers, and we'll see if we can't come to some conclusion here with an SOT 23 part out in the breeze with no airflow, that kind of thing. Okay, I know some people would like to see the setup here. It's a cute little device they give you here. So here's the little camera with the focusable lens, and it is the version I have is a Lightning port, and I have a Lightning to USB-C converter as the cable. We need a cable anyway, and that just drops in here. This little foam thing here holds it in place. So yeah, and it's really, really handy. Right, let's look at the data sheet for absolute maxes, 150 C, thermal characteristics, maximum junction to ambient, maximum junction to ambient, maximum junction to lead, junction to ambient, 70. Are they going to make me do calculations? It could be. So there's a junction temperature, right? The junction temperature is going to be right at the silicon, and that's difficult to measure because it's inside of a package. Okay, so from the junction to ambient, they want it maximum of 90 centigrade per watt. Oh dear, 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 dear. Steady state, here we go, steady state, 100 degrees C per watt. This is not telling me what I want to know. All right, so this isn't really telling you what its failure point is. It's saying what it's going to do. It's going to get a certain temperature for how many watts the package is dissipating. So you have so many watts of power distributed in the package, and it'll tell you what the temperature rise will be. But we want to know what absolutes are. So we need to know how many watts we've got. I didn't measure that. We should have measured the voltage across the part, and then we could calculate the absolute watts. I could go back and do that, but I'm feeling lazy today. So we're going to dry lab it. I talked about dry labbing. So we'll take a look at some numbers here. So the on resistance, okay, is going to be the limiting factor for watts. So let's go ahead, and I had a 5 volt gate to source voltage, okay? And so maximum, let's say that it's, let's see here, at 4 amps it goes up, at 5 amps it comes down. Let's say ballpark it's 50 milliohms, okay? That's going to be fairly conservative, I think. So 50 milliohms is 0.05 ohms, okay? So we have 0.05 ohms. And then how many amps did we have? Well, we had, let's say we had to, let's see here. I took it up to, let me show you some numbers. At 2.8 amps, that was the max I took it. It was 138 degrees C. At 2.7, it was 123. 2.6, it was 110. And at 2.5, it was 98. So I feel comfortable running this thing up to 2.7. So let's do that calculation, okay? So we had 2.7 amps, 2.7 amps, and we'll call it 0.05 ohms, okay? So let's calculate how many watts we have. So watts is I squared R. So we have 2.7 squared times 0.05. And get out our trusty calculator. Okay, 2.7, 0.05. We had 0.36 watts. 0.36 watts, okay. That wasn't very much. The power dissipation is supposed to be 1.4 watts. Let's see, footnote B. Always read the footnotes because they might lie to you. B, the power dissipation is based off of TJ max 150C using less than 10 seconds of junction to ambient thermal resistance. So that's not a DC condition. All right, that's not a DC condition. So that's at 25 degrees ambient temperature. At 70 ambient temperature, it's going down to 0.9 watts. This is really not telling us exactly what we need. Guys who've done this a lot probably know how to calculate this better. But let's say that I would think conservatively half a watt would be okay. So we're certainly in that ballpark. But at 0.3, what did I calculate? At 0.36 watts, it's at 123 degrees C case temperature, and the ambient's about 20 degrees right now, something like that, maybe today 23 degrees. So it's about 100 degrees hotter than ambient. Yeah, I don't know. Comment below. How would you do the calculation, and which high number are you comfortable with? Some people might say 150C. I've always said 125C. You know, modern parts are different than old parts. I'm an old guy. So at least in my little simple garage calculation, quick study, I'm okay with 2.7. We'll call it 2.5, really bulletproof, right? You can do 2.5 all day long. Don't worry ever. It's going to be just fine. So in keeping with, you know, being very conservative in designs and stuff, usually you don't want to push the part to its maximum. If you're right dead in the middle, then, you know, you're golden. It depends on how much money you have to spend, but if this thing is guaranteed at 5 amps and you're driving it at 2.5 and all the numbers look really fine, you know, if you're paying 4 cents a part, 5 cents a part, it's probably fine, right? I don't know how quite expensive these are in volume, but I think they're pretty cheap. I think they're probably in that ballpark. So, all right, well, that was Chip of the Day, an AO3400. I'm a big fan.